All right, we're live. Oh, hang on, hold on. I gotta switch this view. Okay. Oh, hang on. I got my yoga girl cup today.
Oh, cute. I got my Costa Rica.
Hello, Tea Talks family. Welcome to the Tuesday Tea Talks Mid-Morning Show. I am Candy.
And I'm Leslie, and we are so happy to be here with you this Tuesday, as always, for our Tuesday Tea Talk Mid-Morning Show. Go ahead and let's do some cheers early on. I'm feeling it. Whoever's on live now, let's do some cheers. Cheers to life. Cheers to a new decade. Cheers to a new year. And cheers to you.
Cheers.
If you are on now, let us know what you are sipping on, what's in your cup, and clearly how you're filling your cup up today as watching Tea Talks.
Beautiful. So this year, really, we've been talking about this whole month long, we've been talking about how to really actually manifest the things you want to manifest versus being a part of the 95% of people whose New Year's resolutions fail. So the topic, the T theme of the month has been new decade demands major upgrades. So how to actually fulfill on your New Year's goals without losing momentum. And this is a topic that Leslie and I are super passionate about, clearly because we've honestly created a life that we absolutely love for ourselves. And honestly, this, within a few years, we went from working in our jobs to really dreaming up and creating for ourselves a really incredible life. And we want you to know from this Tea Talk show that this is not only possible for you too, but also give you the steps to take from where you are right now in order to make that happen. So I'm seeing our Tea Talks fam jump on, wave to me if you're on, let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. I see Betty. Hello, Betty. It's always great to see you every week. Same to you, Monique and Jesse. And then I can't see who else is on for some reason. So if you are on, drop a comment below. Let us know you're watching.
What's in your cup?
What's in your cup?
Still repping the Bon Temps. I'm loving Bon Temps, by the way. And stay till the end. We do have a special gift from Bon Temps for you. So today I have chai in my cup. If you haven't checked out Bon Temps, we will definitely be dropping the link in the comments later throughout the show.
Yes, definitely. So quick recap, because for those of you that are tuning on this week that didn't get to catch the episode last week, I know Sierra mentioned that she caught the replay just last night, which was awesome. Good morning, Jesse.
I love it.
Yeah, Betty says, I'm not sipping tea today, but I am making cauliflower wings. Whoop, whoop. Hashtag vegan life.
Yum. That sounds fun.
I love it. I know. Save us some. Save Leslie and I some.
Come bring me some. I'll take you to the beach.
Come bring Leslie some in San Diego, she says. Amazing. So I just want to do a quick recap. Last week, we really talked about the first thing we talked about is really getting clear on what's authentic, to you in terms of your aligned visions, like really making sure you're making goals that are really true to you. The second week, last week, we really talked about, instead of focusing on what you want to create, like putting your focus there first, focus reel it back into how you want to feel. So reel it back, like how do you want to feel? And then think about what actions have you feel this way. The common theme is like, what are your New Year's resolutions? What are your New Year's goals? What are you going to do that differently this year? And though, yes, I love the motivating theme, but there's a reason why 95% of New Year's resolutions fail. And so Leslie and I have been hitting all of those through this Tea Talks month. All of those, and talking about how you don't have to be a part of that 95% and how you can be in the 5% of one who actually makes the things happen. The first is getting aligned. The second is talking about how you want to feel. So last week, we not only talked about decide how you want to feel, but then embody those qualities with where you are right now, not waiting for the results to actually feel those feelings. Right, Leslie? And then what else?
And we shared, so I shared my personal story of being an ICU nurse. And I know that there was quite a few comments that came through around that, because some of you are in jobs right now that maybe you like, it's not even like a bad job, but you just know for sure that this is not where you're meant to be long term. And in that middle land, that I call it the gap, it can get really, really confusing, and you can feel unclear, and you can feel like your soul is literally being sucked out from you. And so we talked about how in that middle ground, in that transition, when you're in a place, when you're starting to wake up and you're in a place that you're like, this isn't where I'm meant to be, how can you be your desires? How can you embody what you want to live into in the environment you're in? Because I promise you, if you can, we talked about this, if you can't do it in that environment, it won't matter where you are in the world. And we also talked about my realization in finally manifesting everything I had ever wanted and more, living in Bali, fully funded. And yet I still was left with me. And so we talked about, it's amazing to have these desires. It's amazing to dream, but where we feel a lot of people are missing the mark, if you will, is they're setting these goals, taking action, but they're not altering, refining, addressing how they're feeling in the day-to-day. Mm-hmm. So no matter what they achieve or don't achieve, they still really feel the same. And so I know a lot of you related to that. And that's really the biggest takeaways I took away from last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I love that you brought that up, Leslie, because it's like, we wait for that thing to feel the feeling, right? Like to feel confident, I first have to do this. And it's like interesting because it's like the confidence happens for me, especially throughout the experience. It doesn't happen when I get the client or when I meet my income goal or when I have to cultivate confidence within myself to take the actions that are in alignment. And then I can't rely on that outcome to feel happiness, to feel fulfilled within myself. I become fulfilled within myself, and then I attract those things that create that feeling. So good morning, love. Steph says, I'm super excited. So
yeah. That's a perfect transition, because just like you said, it's really about being and then attracting that of what you want, because now you're at the vibration to do so. And so we're going to talk today a little bit about that and how that looks in real life, where it's like not this woo-woo like concept floating up here, but how can I take these heart desires, all my desires, and actually manifest them into my reality?
Love that. Yeah. Is anybody down for manifesting their reality? Comment below. I manifest my reality. Drop it in the comments below. I'm super excited. I just posted this on Instagram the other day that what you dream. It's so funny. I have to tell this story. It just came up. I wasn't planning on this, but Leslie and I were just kind of like, okay, like let's just recap last week and dive right in. We didn't even plan this conversation.
Check out my story to see how today's prep went.
Yeah. Oh, check Instagram. Oh, Leslie, I was brushing my teeth. Okay. We'll talk about that later. But here, I want to tell you guys a story. I see the comments coming in. I manifest my reality. Amazing. The first thing, I think the biggest like aha moment that I had in my whole life was like the moment where I just realized that my reality is a product of my being, of my essence. Like everything on the outside is a manifestation from what's inside. And I think that was the biggest thing for Leslie. She can agree that was the biggest moment, because then I had realized, and it kind of like is heavy at first, because then you realize, wow, I've been creating this, but you have to think like, you created it unconsciously because of beliefs that you had from maybe your parents, maybe what you saw as a child, whatever, you created that reality. But what's so empowering about it is that, wow, now anything is possible for myself. And so Les- Leslie and I together, we decided, okay, let's play with this. Let's play with manifesting our reality. So today we're going to give you a really powerful tool called scripting. Leslie shares this in her program. I share this in my coaching program. It's such a powerful tool used by so many great people that we think about. Those who wrote The Secret, Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, and anybody who teaches manifestation, law of attraction going forward. It's a powerful tool. So stick around because we're going to share that. But I want to share this story with you because once Leslie and I actually manifested our realities, and here we are in Nepal, getting ready to, no, we actually just came back from hiking the Himalayas. Both of us had left our jobs this year, and it had been just such a big year for us. Like, we're doing it, we're living it. We actually wrote this down, and this is what we're going to teach you today. But we got back to the accommodation that we were staying at, and I ran into the same people that were staying at the accommodation before that, but they were hiking separately. They were doing their own thing. And these guys hiked, they were French guys. Do you remember them, Leslie? The French guys? I know, I was obsessed with their accent. And when they were talking on the law of attraction, I was like, hang on, can I film this real quick? And I actually have a clip
law of attraction, like think hot French dude, hot French accent. I'm
no shirt on.
Freaking no shirt on, freaking law of attraction. I'm not even going to try to mimic it because I wouldn't be able to. So that's the visual.
I will. No. he's like, no, nothing happens by accident. And so it's just so interesting. But so we met at our accommodation. They actually came with Scotty and Leslie on the bus. And then we went our separate ways. We did our hikes, and I came back to, when I came back after, like, Leslie and Scotty and I had parted ways, and I came back after an adventure in Chitwan National Park, safari jungle exploring. And then I ran into them, and I was like, oh my gosh, how was your experience? What hike did you take? How many days did you go for? And this guy, he's like, okay, we did this many days with our family. My mom did it. She's like 60. I'm like, what? That's crazy, because I'm over here struggling up the mountain, but no big deal. But then they said, okay, our family stops, but we thought, oh, why don't we just keep going and get to this peak right here that was, I think, 2,000 meters above where Leslie and I and Scotty went. And I was already having a hard time breathing at that level. What was it, 14,000 meters?
Feet, almost 14,000 feet.
Oh, 14,000 feet, meters. You can tell I grew up in America, right? I'm like, what is meters anyway? But 14, no, it was more. Yeah, it was 14,000 feet. And so I talked to them, and they said they went 2,000 meters higher than that. And
which
so I was like,
2,000 feet more than
more. And I was like, what? And get this, I don't know if I've even told Leslie this. Get this, they did it in half the time. So we went for 7 days. They did it in 4 days total. And I thought, what in the heck? How did you guys do that? And they weren't equipped. He said I was wearing my shorts. I was in my poncho looking like a shaman. Like, he was like, I had my stick and everything, but they were like not like physically dressed for it. I was freezing in my pants, my hiking pants. And he's like, no, it's amazing, because I got up there and I was like, wow, if you can think it, it is possible. And I was like, well, you're freaking walking proof of that, if that's not the truth, because he legit was like, no, I thought this, like, why don't we keep going? And then I did it. And then it was my experience. And so, yes, he's in shape and he's ready for it. It's not like, you can go from sitting on your couch, but really think about that. Like, what if you actually allowed yourself to dream bigger, to dream like, and you do. You guys are big dreamers on this show. Leslie and I just talk about you all the time. We're like, can you believe these women? They're so incredible. They're such big dreamers. They show up for themselves every single week on this show. And so can you imagine, like, what could be created if you actually got that? If it's possible in your mind, it's possible in your reality.
truly, truly understanding that this desire, no matter what it is, no matter how crazy it is, maybe your desire is to truly have peace of mind. Like it doesn't, and when we say dreaming big, I mean, to me, that's dreaming pretty freaking big.
Especially if you're experiencing like anxiety or experiencing
For,
yourself.
depending where you're coming from, that peace of mind could be everything. So dreaming big for where you are and knowing that no matter what the dream is, whether it is starting a business or just simply having peace of mind, that that desire would not have come to you if it wasn't meant for you to fulfill on.
Mm-hmm.
The hows, the why, the who, what, when, where, why, how will arise, will surface. And for this French dude, he could have easily been like, well, I don't have the clothes for it. It's going to be colder. We could just stay with the fam. Why would I do that? But he had this thought. And he connected to the fact that this is a thought, but this is really also a very deep desire. Like I want to summit this peak, this particular peak. And I'm not going to allow the excuse, or the reason, a valid reason that my family's here. I'm not going to go to the top. I'm going to stay back with them. I didn't really prepare for it. And he said, no, if it's in my thought, if I have this thought, it can absolutely become my reality. Let's go do it. And so look in your life right now with this story, with the hot French dude. Where in your own life are you already there? Like he was already there. Mm-hmm. He could have easily come back and said, hey, to his friends, hey, yo, guys, I trekked the Himalayas. Look at these photos. And it literally wouldn't have changed anything to his friends or to his family, right? Nothing. He still was the badass that trekked the Himalayas. But to him, there was more. Mm. So look in your own life. Where are you already there in a sense? Like you're doing it, mm-hmm. but you're holding yourself back because of your partner. Mm-hmm. Like really. Mm-hmm. And I know women, we don't like to hear that. Where are we holding ourselves back because of our partner? Because what are they going to think? Are they going to approve? Are they not going to approve? What about the money? What are they going to think? Are we holding ourselves back because of our parents? Are we holding ourselves back because of what someone else that we don't even talk to is going to think? So where in your life are you already doing it? Because I know everyone on this call is, just like the French dude. He was already deep in the Himalayas. Mm-hmm. But he had a desire, no, and a thought, no. There's more, and I want that more, and I'm going to create it.
Beautiful. Comment below, everybody. If I can think it, it is possible. Like, just write that down. If I can think it, it is possible in the comments below. And I'm super stoked because we're going to transition in a minute. Yes. I'll have Leslie hit the transition music. And we're going to really share this practice. Like, are you guys down for a practice that will actually get you in this state where you can start attracting those everything that you want in life, whether that's a peace of mind, whether that's like just feeling freedom, more freedom in your life, whether that's, attracting a certain income goal per month, whether that's creating a dream life, creating a dream business, whatever you want. Are you guys down for a practice that will get you there? If I think it is possible.
I'm ready for some new desires I have flowing, so I'm ready.
I'm ready too. Okay, awesome. Leslie?
All right, so we're going to be looking for those comments. Boop, boop. Wow. Boop. The transition. Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. Go, girl.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to so the practice is scripting to manifest. You may or may not have heard this before, but we're going to share it a little bit differently. I'm going to let Leslie kind of share why this is so powerful in a minute, because she's really good at like talking about this and like really speaking to the how it actually works, like scientifically in our minds. But the process of this is I am. So I am. I'll pin that comment Leslie said. Scripting to manifest. Awesome. So the process of this is I am. So we're going to speak our desires. We're going to practice on the show, but you guys are going to go off and you're going to create your own scripting to manifest. We're going to speak our desires as if they're happening right now. And I'll just share a quote. I think I shared this quote already. I'm going to share this quote like 3 times on the show already. It's okay. You guys will hear it multiple times from me. Wallace D. Wattles, the author of The Science of Getting Rich, says, you cannot transmute an idea unless you have it yourself. You have to have a clear and definite mental picture of what you desire in order to manifest it into your reality. Something like that. That's paraphrased. But basically, he says that you have to have a clear and definite mental picture. And then there's another one that I want to share. What's the one by? You shared it in your workshop. Shoot.
Which workshop, love?
Which workshop? I know, right? Your Be the Flow workshop. Something about feeling will come into your reality. Like emotion and repetition will one day become your reality.
I don't know the quote off the top of my head. I'd have to look.
Something about like what you say with emotion and repetition will one day become your reality.
And to speak to that for just a second, and why it's so important to have such a clear image. And some of you may have heard this before, but humor us for a second, because look in your own life where manifesting is working and where manifesting maybe isn't working. And there's so many things I could say to this, but to keep it very simple and to keep it very clear, our mind really only sees things in images. Think of a light bulb without seeing an image. Think of a chair without seeing an image. Think of love without seeing an image. Think of hate without seeing an image. Our mind literally only can work in images. And then you're like, wait, no, but I feel love. Yes, we're going to talk about feelings in a second. That's the key that's so often missing. However, let's start with our mind and the power tool. It's literally like, think like Home Depot's most powerful power tool is your mind. We must stop making our mind the bad guy. Our mind is not the bad guy. In fact, our mind is the most powerful, one of the most powerful tools we have, if we use it as we are the creator and this is the tool, versus our mind being the creator. Okay. Mm-hmm. So our mind sees things in images. So you have a desire, and I'm sure you feel your desire. It's exciting. It's more of a feeling, but it is so important. Maybe that desire is, I want to switch jobs. I know I need to switch jobs. I know I need to leave the current position I'm in. And we feel it in our bones. It's like, I know I need to do this. We must start by, how does that look? What is the image? What would you then be doing? Maybe what is that job? Or maybe you're leaving your job and transitioning into entrepreneurship full time. What does that actually even look like? And I'll let Candy take it from there. But it is so important that we create these clear images, because like I said, think of any word. Your mind's going to bring up some kind of picture. Now, Candy's picture of a chair and my picture of a chair could be totally different, but we are still picturing some type of chair. Now, in Spanish, how do you say chair in Spanish?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you say that in Spanish, someone is going to once again, it doesn't matter the language. If someone said that to me right now, I would just stare at them. I'd be like, eh. But if you said that to a Spanish speaking person, what is going to happen? Chair. Immediately an image of their perception. This is also important. Their perception of chair will be placed in their mind.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we'll speak to the feeling in just a minute, but create that clear mental picture of what it is you want to create for yourself. So last week we talked about like, what is the feeling you want to feel? And then what are the things that bring you those feelings? Monique, for example, this would look like for you, you've been talking about your business and sound healing and what that would actually, the possibility of what that would look like. So this for you, just like, I would just invite you to close your eyes and picture clients like literally like lining up at your door, waiting to get onto your table so that you can actually serve them in a way that feels really empowering for you. Yes. Like feel that, picture that. Amazing. Like Jessie, picture you serving these people with your tools of how to, really relieve this mental stress that they're experiencing. Picture clients again lining up at your door, lining up on however this looks for you. So for me, it's in my DM. Like women are DMing me every single day. And then that happens, right? So like picture this like experience, what this is like for you. For Leslie and I, we had very similar ones. Like we're serving in the capacity that we really truly desire at from our laptops. Like, and this is what we're doing right now. Like we're literally, I know.
Like, this is like mobile. Like you get to go with me wherever I go.
Exactly. We chose this path of like we are serving, and this is not for everybody. And don't like so we'll borrow goals is a whole nother conversation, but we chose this life where we are serving at our highest capacity from our laptop so that we can create the freedom to travel the world, to be able to do the things that we desire to do. So, and then Monique says,
really
already
quick,
happening.
What'd she say?
OMG, it's already happening. 2 new clients this weekend and pitched them my massage and sound therapy, and they were excited about it. We're doing it next sessions. I thought it and it's happening. So that's a perfect example. Boom.
Yes. I always have to do the emojis. I'm literally like a walking emoji at this point. Like, ah! Okay. So exciting. And what I wanted to interject and just add in there, because I said there's going to be a couple things to consider that I see just come up and can be common blockages even into this first step. Mm-hmm. And a big piece, especially for women, is allowing ourselves to even, yes, feel, but even picture that. I know so many women, it's easy, oh, I just don't know. We turn to the, I don't know, I'm not clear, because that really takes us out of responsibility. And if we're creating anything, a baby, a life, anything, we kind of got to take responsibility that this is what I'm creating regardless of the outcome, right? Like you create a child, it's like, well, I'm gonna love this child regardless of the outcome, right? Whether the child lives, whether the child dies, we don't know the outcome when we create a human, but we know that that love is going to be there and that connection in whatever way is going to be there. And so looking in your own life, but what I see so often is even women blocking themselves, not even allowing themselves to feel, to picture clearly what it would really be like to have a full DM in your inbox, to have a line of women waiting to work for you. Because I know even for myself, that sounds great, right? And that sounds like what I want, and it is what I want. But then as soon as I go and let us know if this is what you've experienced, as soon as you go to visualize it, it's like, yeah, that's nice. But I mean, the truth is like, that's not going to happen, or like, I'm not really worthy of it. And oftentimes this isn't happening consciously, ladies, but there's that like deep underlying belief of like, yeah, that would be nice. And that's why we're going to immediately talk about feeling. I'm going to have Candy really bring in the feeling. And so sometimes even just the visualization or the image, the creation in the mind is stopped because it's like, sounds good, but then to really allow yourself to go there, like really allow yourself to dream and feel what it would feel like, be who you would have to be to have a whole line of clients waiting for you.
I found it in the files when you were talking. I found the quote in the file. No, I was smiling because I'm like, ding, like there it is. I pulled it out of the, like, you guys, my brain works in files. Leslie and I talk about this all the time. I have the memory of an elephant, like legit. So elephants have great memories. They're my spirit animal.
I have a memory of whatever doesn't have a good memory.
So I have these like files in my mind. Like whenever something's good, I'm like, oh, okay, put that in the long-term file. Because I have short-term files too, where I'm like, okay, remember this for the next 24 hours, 48 hours. The next week. All right, then we're good. Like what we talk about the last Teach Talk show. Okay, that was 1 week ago. But then there's these things that are really great and that that I plant into the long-term files. So Leslie shared this quote at one of her workshops, and I was like, oh, that's the best quote ever. It's by Earl Nightingale. I remember now.
Okay, in my defense, guys, this was 3 years ago, and Scotty put that quote in. But yes, okay, I know now.
All right. So listen to this, you guys. For those of you that are on right now, you guys are in for such a juicy treat. So, because I remembered, because I wanted to circle back to this thing that Leslie and I are talking about. Why is this even so important? I know you guys are ready with your journals. Like, what's the practice? Tell me the practice. But we got to tell you guys why it's so important. So 95% of our lives are ran by our subconscious mind. 95%. And 95% of our minds are unconscious. That means we only have consciousness of 5%. Literally, the same thing as the ocean. We've only explored 5% of the ocean. So can you picture this? Like, even though we have access to so much in the brain, we're only aware of 5% of that. So our awareness journal is out. I know you guys are ready. So our awareness is 5%. That means that these practices we've got to plant in our subconscious mind, so that this is why we do this, and this is why we use it with repetition. So the quote is, whatever we plant in our subconscious minds and nourish with repetition and emotion. Leslie just talked about how you want to feel, and then the light bulb went out, will one day become our reality. So I'm going to write that, or did you write it in?
No.
I'm going to write that in the comments below. Whatever we plant into our subconscious mind, into our subconscious, because we can plant anything we want to in our conscious mind, right? Like, I am, like the affirmations, and those are fun, but actually planting this into your subconscious mind and nourishing it with repetition and emotion will one day become our reality. Cool. Yeah. All right. Were you typing it?
I'm getting it.
Okay. Whatever we plant into our subconscious minds and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become our reality. That's Earl Nightingale. He's an American author. He was one of the first to ever create a motivational series that won I don't know. It was awesome. But with that being said, this is why we do this practice, right? Because it's not just focusing on what we are conscious about, because that's great and all, but what about the 95% that's running the show, that's literally running your life? And kind of look, when you drive to work, or when you drive to wherever that you go every day or every other day, or however that looks, be honest. Did you zone out and somehow get there safely? And I don't condone this, right? Leslie just moved to California, so she's on alert now. But when you are familiar with the roads, be honest, and you're driving to your best friend's house, you're driving to your mom's house, or however that looks, and you just get there somehow, because it's in our subconscious, right? Driving is in our subconscious, right? Same thing with riding a bike.
I always have to really highlight that, you guys. I don't think we fully realize how heavy of machinery a vehicle is, and that our minds are that powerful that we can drive heavy machinery at high speeds. It doesn't feel we're going high speeds, but you're driving 70, 80 miles per hour and don't even remember it.
That's real talk. Hashtag Real Talk Tuesdays. That's Real Talk Tuesdays.
I'm just blown away every time at that.
So, okay, I just wanted to bring that up, because let's be real, this is how powerful our subconscious minds are. So this tool that we're about to give you, and I know you guys are ready with your journals out, is meant to tap into and access that part of your mind when you use it, the way Leslie and I will share to use it. So, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Are you guys ready for this? I know you guys have been ready for the last 10 minutes, so we'll go for it. All right. So this scripting to manifest tool, you want to share it, or do you want me to share it?
Go for it, girlfriend. You're
right. So start with I am. So write this down. I am so happy and grateful now that ... I am so happy and grateful now, and capitalize now, underline now, make it bold now, that And we have to say this as if it's happening now, because guess what? Leslie just said, our minds work in images and they work in feeling, but guess what? They don't work in time. That's the thing. This is when we're working with the quantum. I'm super excited for our Heart Start group today because they're going to get a full-on conversation about this. But our minds don't operate in time now, later, last week. We don't know. And so another thing about our subconscious mind that I'll drop in here is that 95% is also either negative or redundant thoughts from the same thoughts that we had yesterday. So whatever thoughts you had yesterday, if you're any sort of routine type of individual, and you might be thinking those same thoughts today and those same thoughts tomorrow and the same thoughts the next day. And so
and I keep that thought. I want to really highlight that because just yesterday I think it was 2 different messages. I got a few messages, but specifically to that, like saying women starting to become more aware, and they're like, I literally, this negative thought just keeps happening and I see it now, but like I know it's not true, but then it has me question and then doubt myself.
How long have you been thinking that thought? Real talk, hashtag real talk. How long have you been thinking I am not enough and proving to yourself over and over and over again with story, like literally, like you're seeing proof that you're finding, like you're going through, digging through files, like finding reasons why you're not enough and creating experiences, attracting experiences on how you're not enough. That's the truth. I don't know how much proof we still got to give you before we share this practice, but Leslie and I can you clearly see how passionate we are about really giving you guys the tools to really create the life of your dreams, because we've experienced it. And this is why every single motivational book you read, every single leader in the world is going to tell you to just freaking do it, because this is what's possible. Like literally, like Leslie and I are so passionate about this because we literally want this for you. Like we created it for ourselves and that's all fun and dandy, but like we want to share this with you guys. And so I'm super pumped. Are you super pumped?
Yeah.
I am so happy and grateful now that, so this is how you merge, like the possibility. Leslie and I's dream life could have taken us 5 years, 10 years. It could have taken, who knows, but we said now that. And then so suddenly in our lives, we started to see like these things like, okay, that's happening, and we started to prove this new experience to ourselves versus the repetitive unconscious thought that was occurring in the background. And so go ahead.
Because the thing with the mind that's so important to take note of is our mind literally is designed to search for more, which is honestly can be very incredible. And that means more of anything you give it, more of anything you give it. So yes, there's the repetition, there's the mundane thoughts, there's the repetitive thoughts. We know that to be true. You've experienced it in your life. Let me know. Please comment below if you've never experienced a mundane, repetitive, negative thought. If you have never experienced that, let us know. And it's
nobody should be letting us know. Like
no, I know no one's going to be letting us know. And I think I just lost my train of thought. Let's see, where were we?
Subconscious mind, the mind.
Yes.
Mundane, repetitive.
So important to really recognize that it will always give you more of what you give it. So since those negative thoughts are already there, when you start giving it something new. So for example, I am so happy and grateful now that I am living in Bali, fully funded, leading international adventure retreats, having the freedom to do as I desire, living a life I love. Now I have a whole new, my mind's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And already my mind is beautiful, doing exactly what it's meant to do. It's trying to, first of all, figure out what the heck I just put in it. And then it's going to literally look for evidence. It's going to search for more of that. And then the negative thought will arise. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm leading international retreats in Bali, fully funded, living with my best friend, da 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 da. And then your mind's like, whoa, I'm going to search for more evidence on how we can do that. So let's all commit actually for this next week that we're going to really befriend our mind. I think the mind gets kind of a bad rap. And I get it. I get it. Like there's the ego and there's other parts of the mind that we've wrestled with a few times in our life. But this alone is resistance. Put it down and really own the power of your mind. Let it be your friend. Let it work for you. But what are you inputting into this system? What are you inputting into the software? Because you're going to then get more of that out.
Boom. Yeah, Leslie and I had the opportunity. Ashlyn, we see you. Thanks for jumping on.
I love. She's actually in San Diego too.
I love it. I love it. Leslie and I actually took a road trip to New Mexico. We got the opportunity to meet Jen Sincero, the money queen herself, the badass queen herself. If you guys have read her books, I know one of them got sent out in the giveaway that I did on Instagram, but you are a badass. You are a badass at making money. You're a badass every day. The New York Times best-selling books, that's her. And Leslie and I had been just like heart eyes. She had been a teacher for us. And then we actually got the opportunity to meet and be coached by her in person. And one of the things she had shared was that your mind will prove your story. So comment below, I prove to myself, or I prove the story that I tell myself. I prove the story that I tell myself. Comment that in the comment box below. Because when we share this, like, yes, like Leslie just said, your mind will give you more of what you put in it. I prove the story that I tell myself, literally. So when we talk about changing the story that you're telling yourself, like look at what stories you're telling yourself about your ability to, your worthiness, your ability to create whatever it is you want to create, your ability to hold space for others, your ability to make money, whatever stories are running, your ability to hold on to money. Because then some people get to that space where they're able to make money, but then it's gone within like 2 days. And it's like, what are you telling yourself about your ability to manage money? What are you telling yourself about your ability to achieve peace, freedom, whatever those things are that you desire? What are you telling yourself about that? So comment down below. I prove the story that I tell myself. I see you guys commenting. That's awesome.
And it's important that you really take an active role here, because it's one thing to recognize the negative thoughts. I keep telling myself this, I keep telling myself that. And this is exactly what we're talking about. So we recognize the negative. We all agree, we all know it to be so Bible true that we have repetitive negative thoughts in some way, shape, or form. Maybe Candy's is I'm not good enough. Maybe mine is I'm not worthy enough, whatever. But ultimately it's happening, right? So now, instead of talking about that and focusing on that, take an active role. Replace it with something else. And at first you'll notice it's going to be like almost like you're tripping up a little bit, or like the negative thoughts really kind of still are outweighing the scripting. And so this is part of your daily practice, journaling it out. That alone takes something from the non-physical to the physical just by writing it. That alone can be your first step. Sharing it with someone can be your next step. But as you also move throughout your life, when these thoughts arise, you are the creator of your reality, meaning you're taking responsibility now. So when those thoughts arise, we're not going to go into the spiral. We're not going to make ourselves wrong for having them because we're a leader and we shouldn't. We're going to literally just say, oh, interesting. However you want to approach this, something I always say is, oh, thank you so much for being here. I really know you're trying to keep me safe, and that's your intention. My intention is to take over the freaking world. So I am so happy and grateful now that I am living a life true to me and that I get to use my voice.
Next episode, ladies, we are going to talk about how to overcome the negative self-sabotage and negative self-talk and self-sabotage after you do this practice, because that does tend to kick in. So stick around for that last month's episode and how to really bring this full circle. Leslie and I will really share some powerful practices. But today, I'm super excited. There was a thought that came, but then it left. And it was like something around that. The giving it another thing. So Jen Sincero also shared with Leslie and I that every time she had like a negative money thought, because this is how she went from literally living in a garage, like, to having like sold millions and millions of copies of her book and became like truly rich, like inside and out. And
Known for being so the expert, right, in money, like
right,
not only like changing her life, but now having a book that's like the go-to
the
money book for a
go-to.
lot of millennial women.
It's crazy to hear a story, but one of the things, practices that she put into place, the two things, was every time she heard that thought, that repetitive thought, like, this is what Leslie means by taking an active role. Every time she heard the thought, like, oh gosh, dang it, that's so expensive, like, she would then think another thought that kind of coincided with that thought, that was, money flows to me easily and frequently. So every time she was like buying a coffee and it was now $7 for a latte versus back when it was $3 for a latte, she'd be like, what? That's so crazy. And then she'd be like, money flows to me easily and frequently. And it's funny because she made a little alien voice too. So, money flows to me easily and frequently, like every time she did it. But she would literally turn the other direction, like her body, like she would take that active role. That is like ridiculous. That price is crazy. Money flows to me easily and frequently. And pay the thing, gratitude, like just pay whatever it was she was paying with gratitude, with like the excitement that feeling. So all right, let's get to this practice, because if not, we're gonna just keep rolling.
Yeah,
But
keep rolling. And keep this in mind. This isn't just for money. Yes, money is a huge thing we all need and want, right? But this goes, I mean, insert that example that Candy just shared with relationships, with clients, with what you're creating, anything.
yeah, one of the biggest things I did, because I used to say negative things about like my appearance and the way I looked, and it's so interesting because you guys might like be like, oh, Candy is like so attractive, you know, her eyebrows are like perfect. I don't know what you guys say about me, but I'm assuming something like that, because this is what's crazy. I used to say such negative things to myself in the mirror. You know, I used to look in the mirror and say like, gosh, you know, like I could really work on my legs. Like, okay, I really should probably like eat a little bit less. I should, oh, like, oh, my eyebrows are like not, you know, whatever. I would say these negative things. Then I started switching that and like started being overly dramatic. And every time I walked past the mirror, I'd be like, dang, who is that? Oh my God, she's so cute. Like, and I would start like literally implanting this new belief in my mind, like, wow, I'm so cute. Every time a photo, I used to like see photos, like when people would take them and, you know, they'd be an outtake where you're like winking or something. You're like, oh crap, no, redo it. Now I'm like, dang, I'm cute, but I'm winking. Okay, let's do it again, you know? Like, so I just recreated these new thoughts that would have otherwise kept going with that same belief. So I'm super excited. So this practice, because Leslie and I clearly can talk about this all day. We might create a whole coaching program around reprogramming your subconscious mind, who knows? But what we want to share with you about the scripting tool. So I am so happy and grateful now that I am. And then start writing all the things you want to see happen in your life in images, whether it's I'm traveling the world 3 or more times a year, or I'm whatever your desires are, right? Like if it's around attracting clients, I'm attracting X amount of clients per week, I'm making X amount of money, whatever it is, like and then whatever the actual goals are and what they look like, and then what they feel like. So then it feels so good to be serving women from all the way across the world straight from my laptop, right? Like that's what Leslie and I had said in ours. Like it feels so amazing to be serving at this capacity, to be changing lives. It feels so amazing. Like whatever that feeling is for you that really gets invoked there, write that too. So what it looks like and what it feels like. So we'll do this in steps. So you want to write step 1, what it looks like. Step 2, what it feels like. Step 3. You guys ready for this? You ready, Leslie?
Yep, got it.
Step 3, give thanks and gratitude to your energy source. So whether that's God, Jesus, Allah, you know, like universe, the Buddha, you know, like whatever your energy source is, like, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Just give thanks and gratitude where thanks is gratitude's due. Because you're not in this alone. You are supported, whatever you believe in terms of a higher energy source or a higher power, like whatever you believe. Can you type that out, please? Yeah, Leslie's typing it out. And
are you guys ready for this? I know you guys have been ready for like the last 10. So
I hear my echo. Yeah, Betty, we're typing it out. She said, I'm driving. All right, but drive and consciously listen. Don't watch us, just listen to us. All right. Leslie's gonna type it in the comments below so you can circle back to it. But step 1, what it looks like. Step 2, what it feels like. Step 3, give thanks and gratitude. So thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you, universe. 4, now this is the fun part. There's a part 3.
She said, I'm driving. All right, but driving.
Leslie, focus. All right. There's a 3A and then there's a 3B. So the 3A is like give thanks and gratitude to your source. 3B, 4, and this is the fun part, your whatever you need, like whatever you want, whatever you like need for support. So for example, my biggest thing that I desired when it came down to really manifesting this life, I just needed guidance. I needed support. So like, thank you, universe, for guiding me every step of the way and every single time revealing my next action step for what you need in terms of support. Got it? I love it. I love it. Thank you, universe, for guiding me every step of the way. So there's 3B. All right, now 4, thanks and gratitude to your own action steps that you took to make this happen. So this is the fun part, and this is how it becomes more real. You are committing to the universe. You're like declaring this into existence, and you're also making a promise to the universe for so I would say this, sorry, Leslie, I know you're writing this. Acknowledge your energy exchange for number 4. Perfect. Acknowledge your energy exchange. So I'm so glad I chose to be courageous and put myself out there. I am so glad I chose to believe in my ability to create my life and make this happen. I'm so glad I took every single action step that was presented to me. So this is my deal with the universe. Like me and God, like we're here. We're like, all right, thank you for showing me the steps. And I promise, like, so I'm acknowledging that I'm going to take those steps. So I would say, I'm so happy I took every single step that you revealed to me, right? So acknowledge your energy exchange. So make sure you're committing, because it's like one thing to pray for what we want, but to script, to manifest, and actually say, thank you for this, whatever you're wanting. And I'm so glad I did this. That's really just showing the universe how serious you are to making this happen.
Absolutely. And ladies, I know this is a lot. And in fact, you're like, wait, I'm trying to write down the steps. I'm driving, I'm doing this. We will be revisiting this conversation really the rest of the month, for sure, next week, because you can tell there's so much to it. And what we really want to see and what we really want to have happen is this week, just start playing with it. Okay. I encourage you, let go of trying to do it correctly, let go of trying to understand it, and just take it on. Message us with any questions and just start creating your own script for the desires that you are ready to manifest in 2020. And we will revisit next week we're going to talk, as Candy said, we're going to revisit this conversation and also talk, why is it even important why are we even saying I'm so happy and grateful now that? Living into something. We're going to talk about other things to consider. But this week, we want you just to play with this and come next Tuesday with your declaration in hand.
Bring it to the show next Tuesday. All right, we got 3 minutes of asked and answered. So speed fast, type it in the comments below. We want to get to your questions. We want to make sure we answer them live. So whatever questions you have, drop it in the comment box below. And while we're doing that, we're gonna double up and bend time here a little bit. We're gonna talk about our gift to you and our bond temps present for you ladies this month. But so while we're talking about that, just type your questions in the comments box below, because we want to make sure that we get those answered today. So transition music.
Yes.
All right. Boom, boom, boom.
So once again, guys, as you're placing those comments, this is Bond Temp. I mean, look at this design. I just am in love. Bond Temps, Candy will go ahead and drop their website into the comment box. Our whole Tea Talk tribe will receive 20% off their entire order. If you know you like Bond Temps, I know there was a couple women last week that were like, love Bond Temps. If you know you love Bond Temps, order now, because you are going to be receiving 20% off your entire order as many times as you want. This month only.
This month only, ladies.
This month only. This month only. So Tuesday Tea Talks for 20% off. Candy will put that in the comments. And make sure that you're placing your orders. If you know any other women that happen to like Bond Temps and they just are like, oh, I love Bond Temps, it's a little pricey, whatever, here's your 20% off. So that really does bring it down to a way more affordable and such a high quality tea. So today I've been sipping on chai. It's so yummy. And once again, I just really love that they really care about the quality, not just pumping out product that even looks good, but the quality isn't there. They really do care about sustainability and no chemicals.
That's like my favorite part of Bond Temp. So I pinned the comment, asked and answered. Drop your questions in the comment box below. Hi, coach. I see my coach jumping on, my basketball coach. Hello, I see you on. So you guys drop your comments below for Leslie and I to get answered. But yes, I love that. It's so funny because Leslie, I mean, I would consider myself pretty conscious. I try to be at least 90% vegan, 90% guys. And then I was reading Bond Temps, like the cute little bag they sent us. And they I mean, she's so cute. She mailed us this amazing card, and it said on there like bleach free tea bags, and I was like, what? Like,
right.
Yeah, I was like, do tea bags normally have bleach? Like, what the heck?
Is this a perk?
It's so funny because it's like when they started coming out with non-GMO, like non-GMO this, and I'm like, wait, what's a GMO? And then I found out like genetically modified, and I'm like, oh, I had no idea that was in my cereal or whatever else. Like, I was like, dang. So it's kind of like that experience. Like, we were so impressed with the sustainability, with the consciousness of the brand, ethically sourced. So we love Bond Temp. So definitely use that code just for being on Tea Talks. We're so excited about that. So
I will definitely be placing an order because I want more, and I would also love my 20% off.
I'm definitely getting some too. Plus their branding is just
I know, I'm in love. I want to like change American Wonder Love. I'm like, Bond Temps, can I borrow your branding? Because I'm in love.
Amazing, amazing. All right, loves, I don't see any questions in the box below, and this is your opportunity. So if you have any about scripting to manifest, about creating your own reality, about something that's even off topic, this is your opportunity. We'll give it maybe like 1 more minute. So like speed fast, type it out. If you want live coaching from Leslie and I, this is your chance. So other than that, what else do we want to share?
yeah, just to really bring it all full circle, I know I mentioned, so really make sure this week you're just playing with the scripting to manifest. Start implementing, but just start playing with it and start catching those thoughts. Really move into the active role. We're done with the passive role. 2019, kind of let that slide. We got beat up a little bit here and there. 2020, no way. We must really take an active role. No one's going to clear up your thoughts except you. So time to take an active role, and we will revisit this conversation next week with whatever you reach out to us this week. So if you do run into a roadblock, if you're like, wait a minute, Candy was sharing this, Leslie was sharing this, but I have a question, send the questions this week, and next week we will be addressing them live, as well as sharing more around scripting to manifest.
Awesome. We had one question come through, Coach Kincaid. Coach K.
Ooh, hello, Coach. Good to meet you. I hear all the stories.
Coach, this is my best friend, Leslie. So great for you two to meet virtually. So my coach says, okay, wait, what about helping others with their energy? And I love this question because it's, you can kind of hit all areas, but this is the thing Leslie and I are talking about, and I'll let her share whatever she wants to share around this. But this is the thing, when you take charge of your energy, when you actually create what it is that you want to create for yourself. And I know for all women, this is a thing where we just are natural nurturers, right? Like we want to take care of everyone in our lives. We want everyone in our lives to also feel as happy as we are. But that comes from being an example. And this is why you take this practice into your life, which I'm super excited. She says, especially when you have a clear path and having, and others having different directions.
Totally. And in fact, Candy can even maybe forward one of our replays. We spoke specifically to what happens when we're on this path and we're growing and we're going up, 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 and everyone else that we love isn't going up, 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 up too. What happens in that disconnect and who you can be throughout that process. So definitely check out that video, but absolutely, to keep it very short and simple, is the more we actually draw in and bring our focus here, I'm speechless at what really truly opens up for others. And I'm personally experiencing that without going into the whole story right now for time's sake. Maybe we'll open up next week with this story, but without going into too long of a story, I personally have right now 3 family members where for the last 2 years, the relationships have either been non-existent or very altered, very, very altered. And that has really weighed heavy on me to where my nurturing is like wanting to fix it and change it. And it wasn't until I truly, not just said it, but truly 1,020% focused on my energy, my way of being, how I was showing up, who I was being, who I said I was being, and who I was actually being. And I put all of that in check. I now am in 3 conversations, different conversations with these family members through video, through social media, where they now are coming to me. I don't think I ever knew you. I want to get to know you.
Because she's being the example, right? Like she's being the example.
What?
Yeah.
And for so long I was like, what are you doing? You're like gonna go sit with the devil. I mean, other things basically were being told to me. And it's been challenging, but it wasn't until I fully took responsibility. I fully literally did a bath, like the deepest energetic bath for 2 years. That's my little scrubby, that I could do, that I now saw, of course, the closest people to me, but then even saw on a global sense, you guys, how my energy really does have a ripple, because these people aren't in the same state. In fact, they're not even in the same country most of the time as I am.
Yeah. The biggest thing that from that video that we took away, so many people away, that Leslie's talking about is how can you show up as fully self-expressed, the fully self-expressed version of you, while having so much love and compassion for those individuals in your life. Because there's, especially with people close to us, Coach, especially with people close to us, we can really want them to be on board with us because we don't want to lose them in our lives, right? Kind of same thing with them. They're like, you're growing and all that, but like they feel like they're losing their friend, and that's a grieving or their partner, or their cousin or their sister, whatever,
Or your
family.
coach, maybe you're showing up wanting to show up differently even as a coach with
Yeah.
your, or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Any relationship.
Yeah, totally. And as a leader, like it can be like you want these people to really get it, but you get to be the example of that and then show up in these relationships with really extreme like love and compassion. Like I was telling Leslie, I can measure my ability to like, or my transform, because we don't have like this like meter of how much have you transformed as a human being, but I can measure like my own transformation with when I go home to see family, with my ability to be present, be my fully self-expressed self, and just show up with love and compassion and not desire, like I can have their best interests at heart, but not desire for them to change or be more like me or think more like me, right? Like that's how I can measure my transformation. Really powerful. Thanks for that question, Coach. I love that. We always want to nurture and worry about everyone else around us, but when we take care of ourselves, we then ripple into all of our relationships that way. But remembering to take responsibility, like Leslie said, and then also show up with love and compassion towards the individuals in your life. Beautiful.
And so often when, especially as women, partly, yes, we want to nurture, but sometimes putting focus on others gets us off the hook, quite honestly, because then we don't have to take responsibility, or we don't have to look, and we get to nurture and fix and pour all that energy into others, which is beautiful. And then we're left typically very very on E, burnt out, resentful. I was as far as resentful. So that's definitely something to look at.
Lonely, like mine was lonely, like why can't they be more like this, like yeah,
No one
totally.
gets it. Mm-hmm.
Totally. Awesome. All right, Tea Talks family. Well, visit us next week here on the Tuesday Tea Talks mid-morning show. I am Candy.
I'm Leslie. Let's cheers it up, guys. We are so grateful for you. Have a beautiful Tuesday. Until next time.
Until next time, we'll be here dance partying.